T-Mobile 5G internet keeps getting better. Boost your connection to harder-to-reach places with Home Internet Plus and get internet right where you want it.
With Wi-Fi that reaches the attic, I finally have a home office.
Get a free upgrade to T-Mobile Home Internet Plus while supplies last. Home Internet Plus starts at $50 a month with autopay and any voice line. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
During congestion, customers on this plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using greater than 1.2 terabytes per month due to data prioritization. After $20 bill credit plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit bank account required. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies.
You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? Deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where two reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Pre-Fixe, your weekly pop culture roundup.
Baby, Christopher, I want to be honest with you because I wouldn't insult our friendship by giving you anything else but honesty.
Sure.
I forgot we were recording at 5:00 today. I thought we were doing all of it at 7, and then when I realized that we were recording at 5, oh, trust me, I know I emailed you and all that.
You were
stuff.
the one that said 5:00.
I know.
By the way,
I set the time, but then I forgot, and at 4:45. I ripped a hit off this bong. I was choking like I was gagging on the actor that plays Eric Menendez. I mean, it was truly. And then like 2 minutes later, someone texted me and I'm like, fuck, we're doing this at 5:00. So
yeah, like I
can't make any promises about remembering your name or the name of any of the celebrities here or remaining standing through this.
Dear God in heaven. Okay.
I also have one request for you while it's on my mind because I'm going to see you tomorrow at the duplex. Do you and or Hassan have like a larger silver chain? Because I'd like to, I'm going to be in all black tomorrow and I'm going to look very New Jersey and I'd like to take some photos at the duplex and I would like to have like a large chain as part of that look.
Now, is this like a how large? Like the answer is yes.
Sure. I mean, comically large. I don't care really. I mean, it doesn't have to be Flava Flav's clock, but I would like it to be chunkier than the one that I wear normally.
I have like slightly bigger. And then if we really want to go big, we do have a few that are like big, humongous.
Give me a dog collar. That's what I want. I am running out this Indian summer. Like I'm beating it to death. Tank top, tight pants, very Danny Zuko. And since we haven't all seen each other in a minute, I felt like I would dress specially since you're all from Jersey, except Rebecca. And I wanted to dress the part.
She's also from New Jersey.
Is she?
Yes, her parents live in New
Rebecca,
Jersey.
I'm sorry. I did not know that. I didn't know that. She seems so Westchester to me.
Copy that. I will have to know from this episode to remember myself. Like I'm gonna have to listen to the episode to remember.
Oh, I'll text you. Text you.
Text me and I'll bring you some. I'll bring you an array.
All right. Thank you to the listeners for sitting through our personal business.
Yeah,
and we will post the pictures
between us.
Please check our Insta stories for the chain in question. I almost bought one today, but I was like, I'm going to wear it one time, and I just need it for a photo.
No, you have me, so we're good to go.
We have a couple of announcements, so sit tight. We have some big things happening that we're thrilled about, but first, we want to talk about something even more important, and that is the return of the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Is it more important because
I mean, culturally, maybe? I don't know. What did
Dominick,
you think?
as a fan, this was a swing and a miss.
I agree.
Yowza, as I like to say.
Yeah. You know, they had the opportunity to make this something super special, and they did by including the GOAT, Cher, to be their headliner.
Cher was the best part of it.
I mean, she did her thing. She was the best part of it. I keep hearing before, during, and after everyone squawking about, the body positivity. And my question is, where was the diversity in the body types? Maybe there was a size 8 there, except for that one plus size model we talked about the other day. But
yeah, Ashley Graham was there, but like she's no newcomer to being a model. Like it's not like there were these new people. Yeah, you are right.
It wasn't, everyone was still in like tip top shape. And by the way, if you caught SNL this past week, Sarah Sherman did a hilarious monologue during Weekend Update, basically listing all of the body types she wanted to see there. I highly recommend just going on Insta and looking at it. But she was right. I mean, there was not.
We had a few trans girls, but again, they were rail thin. Like they were like,
yeah. Baby steps.
Yeah.
And then we have the finale. Jesus, Francesca Christ. Tyra Banks makes
I don't even know
so
what
hard
to say about it. Like
she makes it so hard. First of all, it's a fashion show about underwear, and this woman
does
walks out in a
make it
catsuit.
so hard. She does make it so hard.
This
really
is a fashion show about underwear, and she walks on the runway wearing a catsuit. She's not wearing underwear. It's a fashion show for underwear, and we love Tyra Banks here, but it must be
she looked
said,
insane. She looked absolutely insane.
But she didn't look like someone who, for 37 seasons, ran a show finding America's Next Top Model.
No.
It was a bumbling walk. It was her waving at people in the audience, which is like, how dare you? How dare you?
I know.
You're doing crowd work? You're on the runway.
And she's like billed as like the big supermodel coming back. Like her entrance is the finale of the entire show. And she's like, She spent an entire century of television searching for other models. She's supposed to be the expert. How dare. Ill-fitting corset, I got to say. Talk about a miss. No, it was bad.
I love Tyra Banks. She makes it hard, but I love her.
But she does make it hard. And like, there were parts of our fix that were there. Like we did get our like Adriana Limas, and we got our Alessandra Ambrosios. Yep. We got our, obviously Gigi and Bella looked fucking great because they always do. You know what I mean? We got some new people, but it was not, this is the problem. And
it wasn't the event.
The venue was a miss. It was the venue. They did it in some place in Brooklyn that cost them $25. And they shot it wrong. Like, I don't want to go too much, but like back in the day, like you could hear the crowd, but you didn't really see the crowd. Like the actual building was small, and it was like the light was bouncing off of the stage and was like, you could see every single person in the crowd. And it was like not that many people. And the way that they shot it, they had these like cameras that would be on like this track that would go sideways. So no person was like blocking it with these like RoboCams. But because they were so low, when you shot up, it was like, you weren't shooting into like a wall of people that looks like this big crowd. It was like shooting into like a wall, like an exposed wall in like a airplane hangar. You know what I mean?
Is it possible they shot it at a Trump rally in between speakers? Is this possible?
Actually, though. Like, it was, and like you kept seeing and yes, like we're just like 2 decades too late for the like stripped down, like, like Brooklyn edgy situation. Like that's not cool anymore.
Big. This needed to be go big or go home. And
like, we needed to be like at the Sphere in Las Vegas, where it's like Tyra's face is like distorted through the Sphere.
No,
not
it needed
like
to be
unnamed location in Brooklyn that was really cheap.
It needed to be go big or go home. And honestly,
it wasn't. It was go home.
Like we're done with Victoria's Secret. Like they were given a golden opportunity here. All the marketing leading up to it was fantastic.
It was great.
With the envelopes and even with Tyra in all of it. And it was, I just don't know. It just didn't click.
And there were moments that was like, oh my God, like there's Kate Moss coming out of nowhere. Like one of the biggest.
Sure. On paper, this reads like the event of the year, and it just
wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky we're even leading with it because no one else did. I got to be honest, like nobody. It was not. It didn't move the needle anywhere.
And I watched the whole thing. Like I sat down, and while I was doing emails, just like put it on in the background, and I like was like, oh, this is boring.
Well, Cher herself has had a busy week because she was also last week inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. A lovely show. Lots of fierce honorees, Mary J. Blige, etc. Really cute. Dua Lipa was singing Believe, and Cher came out and joined her. Zendaya channeling 70s Cher.
No words. No words.
There are none. It is the look of the entire year.
This is what we wanted the Victoria's Secret fashion show to be, was this.
Yes.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
My only complaint, really, and there are a lot of people on the Pre-Fixe this week that I love who I have pointed opinions about, but I love Dua Lipa. I love that she was involved in giving this to Cher. I love that she is a musician, and the beauty of doing music is that you have all these keys to choose from. I just wish Dua had chosen one when she was singing before Believe came out, because you can't induct God into the Hall of Fame and somehow be sharp and flat at the same time. You better put that pickle jalapeno drink down, girl, because it's not.
The jalapenos were vibrating in her throat. Okay, I love Dua Peep, love her to death, but love her music, love all of it.
All of it.
She is not a vocalist. She has a good voice, but you know what I'm saying?
She made that clear Friday night.
Yeah.
She definitely did. Or was it Friday? Whenever it was, but she made it clear.
However, what I do like is she is a global superstar, regardless if she did a bad performance. Like, she's a global superstar. And then we have Zendaya, who is like the Julia Roberts of our time, if not more. Like, I mean, Julia Roberts isn't even the person to say, but like, she is the actor of she is the millennial actor that will be Helen Mirren one day.
She is sort of like the non-musical Taylor Swift right now. And she's already blowing up. She has blown up, but she's only going to get bigger.
No, but
please Google the outfit that she wore, the Bob Mackie homage outfit.
To die for.
And if you're an insecure person, if you're a jealous person, don't look it up. Because what I'm telling you is that I don't care how hot you think you are or how you actually are, you will never look as good as Zendaya dressed as Cher.
Absolutely,
no one will. Cher will never look like Zendaya dressed as Cher. She looks that fucking good. Bless her. Absolutely bless her.
It's beyond. Like, beyond. What I liked about it, though, is that I loved we had like Dua Peep, huge star, Zendaya, huge star. Like, we have Cher coming, and like we have the passing of the baton kind of a situation, which I really like. That to me is fun. And then I think who else? Oh, and then when your girl, Dionne Warwick and Tiana Taylor,
Sonny.
We have the passing of the baton, and she's like, "This is my alter ego." Like, we have all the I almost have chills right now of like we have all these
The best part, the passing of the baton, like Cher with Dua Lipa, it's like really the inventor of autotune passing the baton to someone who desperately needed it that night. Love you, Doo-Doo. Let's pre-record. It's fine. Pre-record when you're live like that.
But even so, like, I love them coming out and singing together. Like, that is so fun. I feel like we've talked about this before. Why do we not do more of that?
I don't know.
Like,
because
people Grammys, why is it not
people
here's Beyonce and then like here's like someone, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's not a good example, but like that needs to happen more.
And what was great about that moment is like that was what used to happen on the Cher show and Sonny and Cher all the time. They'd bring up Bette Midler and Elton John at the same time and sing someone else's song who wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Then let's not forget Cher's 5-part solo West Side Story moment where she sang all the roles.
Jesus Christ on a cross.
All right, we move on to Wicked Watch now, where the two stars of Wicked are now having separate piles of mud slung at them.
Like, what is the Wicked Watch? I mean, it's going to be over soon, but like, I want it almost be like, like to be like, let us.
That should be it. That sounded like Dua Lipa, by the way. Well done. First, let's start with Elvira versus Ariana Grande. Elvira,
dare she?
She crawls out every October and does a bunch of shit. We've no issues with Elvira. She's an icon, absolutely. But then tells a story about Ariana Grande showing up to one of her shows with 20 friends in tow and went backstage, and Ariana asked if each friend could individually take a photo with Elvira. She did. And then when Elvira said to Ariana, "Can I take a picture with you?" Ariana said, "I don't do that." And then apparently they all left before the first number.
No, Ariana left.
Ariana. Oh, not the friends?
I think they all stayed because they actually wanted to see it.
So Ariana left before the first number. As of press time here, she has apparently released some lame statement where
she had a panic attack or something.
She had a panic attack because did you think Elvira was a real vampire? What were you so fucking nervous about, girl?
I
had a panic attack. Elvira's breast scared me. Her bosom was imposing.
I will say, I'm like, Ariana's a diva. Yeah, of course she was like, no. She was like, you don't give me yes, it's fucked up, but I'm like, all right, yeah, of course that's what she did.
Someone else on that stage was like, did she leave because you didn't have donuts for her backstage?
Slam.
So whatever
Slam.
queen, there was some queen in the video I saw, whoever was moderating this talk with Elvira kept like throwing flaming arrows at Ariana. He's probably trying to open for Elvira or maybe Ariana. Who knows?
But no, to me, this is a non-issue in my opinion. I'm putting that to the side.
Only because I think it's the small seed of the eventual, we're going to be in 6 weeks of destruction for Wicked before it opens. Cynthia Erivo is not helping this front at all.
Well, this is why this story is even being run. The Elvira story is happening as an aftershock of Cynthia Erivo's Instagram story.
Oh, I don't know. It
do
definitely
know.
happened after. You think Elvira was like, I'm going to really stick it to Cynthia Erivo and tell. Do you think Elvira is that calculating?
No, but I think that like the energy was like these two are invincible. And then what we're about to speak about is like the first crack of like, oh no. Like what's going to happen?
Like a gay liberal Alex Jones with these Hollywood conspiracy theories. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande appear on the Wicked poster in the iconic Cynthia Erivo as Alphabet faces forward.
The ABBA,
and
the
Belinda
ABBA.
whispers into her ear. And in the movie poster, we see Cynthia's full face. In the Broadway poster, even more iconically, Elphaba's hat hides her face, half of her face. So there is fan art where they have lowered the hat to hide half of Cynthia's face to mimic more directly the Broadway poster.
Yeah, and put red lipstick on her as well.
Right, to mimic the Broadway poster. Well, Cynthia Erivo did not like that and released a statement about how genuinely upsetting it was and how she is feeling erased and that it was cruel and all this stuff. Baby, Cynthia Erivo's wrong. This is not. This is not even a hill to die on. This is like you're arguing with canonical maniacs of the musical. They're excited that you're in it. They're just trying to make the movie poster what the Broadway poster was. No one's trying to erase you at all. No one likes hurt feelings.
Also,
but
you're the main character of the whole movie. Like no one feels bad for you. Like it's your movie. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no one's. How could we erase you? It's not even possible. Like, what are you talking about?
Anything you put on the internet, someone's going to Photoshop to like do whatever they want with. And like, that just is what it is. And like, there's so many ways that this could be a lot worse. Now, are people putting the little speech bubble by Ariana Grande and saying, is your pussy green? Yes. Is that really funny? Yes. Like, is it
hilarious.
Stupid and juvenile?
It's also,
yes.
it's
like,
based on something like niche famous, where like someone wrote on a subway poster with Glinda whispering Elphaba, is your pussy
it's
green?
Just like stupid, but like she was like
20
so
years old,
upset about it. And it's like, you're like, don't comment on this.
Yeah.
Like rise above this. And even if she does feel like, let's say she really does feel this way. It's like, okay, but like onwards and upwards.
Yeah. Or before you go to Instagram, run that by somebody so they can just calm you down.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
I need everyone I know to sort of talk me out of tantrums. You do that. Get some friends who are like, don't hit send on this.
But that was the first time that we saw them crack in the sense of like, ooh, drama on the set again. Right. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, like this is scandal now attached to this movie. Like we got over SpongeBob and we're past that. And now it's like the little cracks are happening. And I'm like, uh-oh. And now you see she's doing a Target commercial and she's doing this. And I'm like, okay, we're back on track. But
until we find out that Jonathan Bailey had sex with SpongeBob on set, and then all hell's gonna break loose.
I could only wish. I mean, he's gonna be the biggest celebrity in the whole world after this. You're aware of that, right?
No one's pulling a hat over that guy's face. I'll tell you that in any photograph.
So beautiful, it like is painful how hot he is.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's perfect.
I could never find out that he's a monster. Like I could never.
I feel like Matt Bomer has a voodoo doll of him at home.
It's like stabbing him in the back.
This is my replacement. You're my Dua Lipa. Sad news. I didn't want to lead with this, obviously, but Liam Payne passed away last week. Really, really like international sadness about this. Because you forgot. One Direction wasn't around that long, but when they were here, they were all the things.
They were
everywhere.
Even like people that are like my friends, like obsessed with them because it was like the second coming of the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, like Beatlemania. You know
I have friends older than me who I did not know were One Directioners until this happened. And we were out 2 nights after and they were telling me stories of going to the One Direction concert. I have one friend who's in his mid-50s and one who just turned 60, but they went to the last One Direction tour and they were the oldest people in the audience.
Of course. Yeah, sure.
And
of course they
were probably profiled by every police officer there.
Yeah.
Like, why are you here?
P.S. Rightfully so.
How dare you? These are not pedophiles.
No, I'm just saying, like,
but it was unusual. But
we should be on alert if we see that.
But I didn't know they were One Directioners, and very sad, very sad. The saddest thing that I read so far is that his sister found out from an alert on her phone because no one got a hold of her in enough time.
It's so tragically sad in every way. And there was a lot of stuff coming out like right before. And I will say, like, I think the mother of his children or his child was like, this was too public too quick. Like, fuck all of you,
Cheryl
basically.
Cole.
And
Wasn't
I'm
it
like,
Cheryl Cole?
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of was. Like, I don't need to hear the 911 call. Fuck TMZ, as I say all the time, for putting those photos of him. Like, go fuck yourselves, you disgusting people.
They had to take them down pretty quickly. I mean, there was talk about information happening quickly. The backlash was really quick.
Immediate. Like,
even in our group chat, by the time someone texted it in the group chat, I had already responded. I was like, TMZ's already in trouble. And it's been up for 5 minutes. So
yeah.
Interesting choice. I mean, there had to have been a conversation there about whether or not they should do it.
I don't even think that there was. And that's
I think the conversation was probably a smirk of like, think of all the hate we're going to get for this. Let's post it. That was probably the conversation.
Horrible. It's really sad. And it's sad to see someone so young. Like, he's younger than me. You know what I mean? Like, someone that's been that famous for so long and we still don't have a way to get these people care. You know what I mean? Like, how on earth is he not going to be? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way he's not struggling with a tremendous mental illness from being so famous so quick, so young.
You know, when someone takes their own life, there's always like this, especially when it's someone famous, like the blame game is just so intense and it's carried out publicly. And I watched this bizarre Piers Morgan interview where he's talking to former X Factor contestants and Howie Mandel, your nemesis, who I guess is representing America's Got Talent, about the psychological care that people get on these shows. And, you know, I'm just like,
Piers Morgan, go away.
And Howie Mandel and everyone talking about it. Put this boy in the ground first. Let his family handle who's going to get screamed at. Can you imagine like Liam Payne from One Direction kills himself and somehow Howie Mandel is on Piers Morgan having a shouting match about it? Our planet deserves to be destroyed.
Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I was happy to see, I haven't seen Cardi B in a while come across my feed. I was unhappy to see the story.
I was like, what is this? Whenever
they basically sent CPS to Cardi B's house as a prank. This woman is not feeling it. She went on the socials and she's I'm scared of her. Someone's going to turn up dead because of this for sure. Like, CPS is the least of their worries.
This is also like that's not funny. At all.
No. And I love a good prank, but this.
No, but like, got your nose is a good prank, not not this. Like, and like, that was like when Britney was doing the knife dance and that they did a wellness check on her and she was like, don't do a wellness check on me. I'm fine.
I mean, I think that she should be wellness checked every day, but
I know, but still, I don't like that you can like with unfounded proof, just like call CPS and be like, I think this person.
It's a very, and I'm not being flip, but it's a very believe all victims. Scenario. It's like,
I know. Even as I say that, I'm like, but what if it was really bad and then you could do it? But like, I don't like it.
A quick Diddy update. There are so many Diddy stories now that it's become literally impossible to keep track. It needs its own network.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his plan all along. He'll probably launch the fucking thing and just talk about his trial. But one story that stood out right before we started recording this was that there's now a pro athlete in the mix who apparently stopped Diddy from sexually assaulting a male driver at a party. And apparently this professional athlete had to like take Diddy's hand off of this driver's genitalia because Diddy was drunk and grabbed it.
Oh, brother.
And I mean, I think the most shocking part is that the professional athlete was the Australian breakdancer from this past
Dominick. Stop it.
The athlete was Billie Jean King. I'm serious. I have no idea. I have no idea. I can't wait to find out.
Now, just like passing whatever things that happened are like.
I hope it was Mary Lou Retton or someone absolutely out of left field.
No, but like, I think it was like LeBron James. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I have zero proof of that. That's just completely like a pro athlete that pops in my head. But it was like, someone famous. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the third string kicker of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was like someone famous that was at this like Ciroc launch event. Do you know what I'm saying?
There are like, I think there are stills of the incident that I saw in the post, but they have the athlete blurred out. Yeah.
Thank God.
Selfishly, I'm doing a holiday show in December, and I'm nervous that I'm going to have to rewrite every single one because this story is just going to keep changing. And
you can't even. You're going to have to just do like an improv for that section. It's just like it's going to be like whatever.
The yes and Diddy section.
Yes, 100%. Because like everything you write now in 2 months from now is going to be completely different.
Reports now that Kim Kardashian, I don't like saying this about a billionaire, but that she's pretty much a single parent, that Kanye is just sort of out, like doesn't talk to, doesn't come by with the kids anymore. Like he's just sort of given up. And Dominick, she's very frustrated.
I watched an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians like a year ago where she's like going through a warehouse that she has with all of like his clothes and like stuff. And she's like, I need to like keep this stuff because it's like how the children are going to like remember their father. That was a year ago. He was too busy getting like filleted on that gondola. You know what I mean? Like he's not there with them.
I do think that he's back with the wife who he wanted to fuck her mother or whatever last week.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, but right before we came on here, I think they said they were out to dinner together.
Jesus Christ.
But if you're going to be abandoned by your baby's father, it helps to be a billionaire. So kudos
also,
on that.
She should be happy that he's not showing up.
So happy. Like their anti-Semitic father is not coming around the house. That's good for everybody from God on down. Like really, just you should be happy about it. They can seek him out when they're 18, or they can just go on his Insta if they want to. They can DM him if they want to get in touch with him. I forgot that Paula Abdul had filed a sexual assault claim against the EP of So You Think You Can Dance.
And he's like, we texted, so it's fine. And it's like, no. It's like,
his name is Nigel Lithgow. You'll remember him as he was involved as a producer on Idol as well. And he was a judge on So You Think You Can Dance. He did say that she is basically a pathological liar and an attention seeker. So poor little Paula Abdul, she just stays so quiet. Now she's being maligned. But I do have a question about sexual assaults. Is sexual assault like the new breathing? Like we can't even get through a Pre-Fixe without mentioning three celebrity sexual assaults.
I was like, where are you going with this? But yes,
it's unbelievable. No wonder Olivia Benson can't fucking retire. This is outrageous, for God's sakes.
No, like just don't sexually assault your coworkers, period, done.
Yeah. Like, do you have to be someone who sexually assaults to become famous? Is that my problem? Have I not touched enough people inappropriately? And am I going to skyrocket to stardom if that happens?
Well, the thing that's sad is every single woman listening to this podcast is like, yes, it's a horrible problem that we deal with every single day, you two men idiots. Like,
and I understand that, but this level at this point where it's like, obviously this has been going on underreported for the past 200 years or so, I am still very much allowed as a person whose morality does not include behavior like this to sit back and be like, what is wrong with us? Like, what the fuck is wrong with us?
Yes, 100%. I also love that he's like, we were friends. So like, if I tried to have sex with her, like, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Like his whole defense is like, we were like friendly. And so if I attacked her, it was okay. And I'm like, go to prison now.
But do you love this? It's like, we were friends. This was our text. She's also a pathological liar. Well, that's a nice friend.
Yeah. Like, what a great friend you are. Like,
I grabbed her tit and she's a liar and and she's a lunatic. But we were friends. Whoa. All right. Sounds like some of mine.
Oh, God.
Speaking of sexual assault,
please
Harvey Weinstein, who has recovered from heart troubles, now has bone cancer. Said it a few weeks ago. We'll say it again. Bye. Why are you taking the fucking long way? Take the express. Goodbye. No one wants you here. And we know someone you could take with you too. And apparently he has a driver that he has a favorite driver whose dick he grabs. They can drive you both there to hell.
Oh my God.
Angelina Jolie has a new boyfriend. Have you seen this piece of ass?
I saw the pics and I was like, not who I expected this to be, but I bet he's like cuckoo bananas like her and they're having the best time.
But that's who an international icon belongs with. You're going to have to look him up for yourself. I don't know where he hails from, but he is They look beautiful together. I want to watch them have sex. I'll watch him pleasure himself alone. He can watch me, whatever floats his boat. He is a British rapper named Akala. And he is, I'm looking at his photo right now. Please Google him, listeners, because he is 40 years old. He is gorgeous. He has apparently also been educating Angelina on Britain's colonial past and the country's prominent Black figures.
Oh, she's going in. She's going to have 90 million documentaries, like taking the royal family, dismantling them brick by brick. Like
now we
she
know why
is going to go. Yep. Oh God, I'm ready for I'm buckling in and I'm ready for it.
They're not having good sex at all. They're sitting around talking about politics. They're trying to be like George and Amal.
And then they're like banging it out. No, they are. I know they are.
I don't know.
No, but she's going
to
get ready for like, there's about to be 17 new Netflix documentaries.
You know who I love seeing in the news as much as she's been in it because of this goddamn Netflix documentary is Martha Stewart. I cannot get enough of her. Also, the New York Post can't get enough of her. And they're just like pulling one interview by every day and making like a 2-page story about it. And it has been hilarious. She is 83 years old and has this documentary coming out where she, I think in the trailer, admitted that she had like a years-long affair behind her husband's back.
Not like I got drunk at a bar and made out with another guy and then went home with him and passed. Like had another relationship that she was in for years.
And to describe her as unapologetic would be an understatement. Like she's just like
the century, Dominick.
Period.
Yeah.
She is a piece of work, man. I love her. She also has not spoken to her husband since they got divorced, which is more than 20 years ago, which she talks about as well. She also talks about, there's like rumors of a feud between her and Ina Garten. Are you a big Ina Garten fan? Am I wrong about that?
Chelsea just recapped Ina's book on her podcast. And so like, it was something like Ina didn't talk to Martha whenever after she went to prison or something. Well, they were like competition in theory.
Sure. But Martha also helped Ina a lot at the beginning. Like she helped Ina get her first book deal. Ina worked for Martha for a period of time. Martha's version, and apparently they both released statements saying there is no feud, we just don't talk. But Martha said Ina stopped talking to her when she went to jail. But Ina said that she stopped talking to Martha when Martha moved to Connecticut. It was just a distance thing.
She was like, bye.
Basically. I love that. And Ina just released a book a couple of months ago, which got some good press as well. But this documentary that Martha's doing, I can't wait to see it. It comes out October 30th on Netflix. I'll be there.
Oh, wait. And did you see that Martha Stewart was like, I would never go on the Golden Bachelorette. The men aren't hot enough. Like, slam.
Is that the best?
Yes.
Because
she's like, I'm getting dicked down by like 30-year-olds. Like, I don't need this.
She would be great on that show, too. She would be really great.
She would destroy them.
She's right about the men not being hot enough. She also should stay away from them because have you heard about this dipshit on the fucking Golden Bachelorette who apparently in the not too far away past, I'm sure there's a better, more elegant way to say that, his wife had a restraining order against him. Like not in like 1974, but like in like right before COVID.
No, but I think they're saying that it happened after he got cast on the show. Like his background check like was fine, and then like she did a restraining order. Like,
oh wow,
yeah.
Well, then,
he's the one.
Even
the one
if he
that
wasn't threatening her, that is a boss move.
It's
right
diabolical.
Are you going to go on The Bachelor?
I love
Fuck
it.
you, baby.
Yeah, watch this. Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
And he's still in it. He's still there, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, Joan, don't pick him. Like, just get him.
So like when there's an announcement that someone has taken a game and is going to make a movie about it. I never see those movies because I already hate them when they talk about making a movie out of a game. It just sounds ridiculous. So do you know what a Viewmaster is? Are you old enough to know what a Viewmaster is?
Wasn't the Viewmaster like the thing where you put that circle thing in that?
Yeah. It's a disc of
binocular
pictures
and you like push the button.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a disc of pictures. It's been around probably since the 50s. Like my parents had them as toys when they were kids. It's a disc of photos that you put into a pair of binoculars and you just sort of click through and look at the photos. There's no video. Like there's no nothing.
Donald Duck, like doing a day in the life of Donald Duck. And he's like going to the grocery store and then he's doing this and he's here.
Or 10 photos of the Grand Canyon or anything.
Sure.
They're making a movie out of it.
This is what's so sad about Hollywood is that like, the Barbie movie was obviously like a humongous monetary success, but like So they're like, instead of being like, this is a movie aimed at women, about women, and about this like very divisive toy that has become like a humongous, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like this larger than life entity that is like, has been both liberating and oppressive to women. And so it's like, how do we, they're
so
like,
the
what other
follow-up, you're saying the
toys?
follow-up to that is Viewmaster.
I'm serious. Yes. They're like,
And
what
who's
other
that gonna help?
toys? Because isn't what's her name doing like she's doing the Sims movie, which I'm so excited for, but like no one needs the Sims movie. Like, what the hell is this? And then they want to do a Polly Pocket movie. I'm like, we're not getting the Barbie 2 with the Polly Pocket movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Barbie was one thing. And again, the Barbie doll is the most famous toy to ever exist. Do you know what I'm like? We're not getting that again with like the Viewmaster.
You know, give me the Hungry Hungry Hippos movie with the
Love
cast
that.
of Friends. But put the cast of Friends in there. Let's see that. Let's
That's
do that.
fun.
Why not?
The Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Why not?
That's better, at least. The Viewmaster movie? No, thank you.
Is there a movie of the board game Candyland?
No, but that's what we need. Not the Viewmaster or Polly Pocket. Yeah, Candyland.
Is there a movie of the card game Uno? How would we do that?
No, but that already is better to me.
Could you see that? I could see Sigourney Weaver as some evil Uno queen whipping around and saying, draw
like a plus 4. Yeah,
bitch.
draw 4. Yeah. In her alien like thing that she has to. Yeah.
Should we make some announcements now?
I think we should make some announcements. First and foremost, it's Halloween, baby. Boo. I scared you. We are doing a Halloween trick or treat Halloween live Zoom. It will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time as to not conflict with the glamorous trash Halloween Zoom. So we are going to be dressed in costume. Please come in costume if you want to, because I have a costume that's going to blow everyone's socks off. Dominick does not know what I'm going to be at, and I don't know.
I've been thinking about what it's going to be. You already know what I'm going to be, but I have guesses about what your costume is.
And we are going to all see live when I put my camera on for the first time of what I'm going to be.
Should I guess or no? Can I give you 3?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because you think, I bet I would guess it.
might-
It's 3 guesses. I bet I would guess it. I'll tell you off camera what I think it is.
Okay. But you're not allowed because you might get it right. Even within the costume, there are other surprises. That's all I'm going to say. So just
there
that's
are
all.
Easter eggs in the wait. Is this a reveal?
Correct.
Is this Chris DeRosa's Drag Race? Is what's happening?
This is it. Sure is. It sure is. So just if for nothing else, just be there for that.
So that Zoom is on this Sunday night. If you're listening to this podcast in the day or days after it drops, this Sunday, which is the 27th. Or is it the 28th?
The 27th of October.
27th of October at 8:30 p.m. Be there.
And that is the Long Island Iced Tea tier. So if you're not in the $20 tier, I'm so sorry, but you're not invited. So get those tiers up, and be ready.
I'm not talking up my costume as much as I think Chris's is going to be more of a bombshell than mine. What I will tell you is that I am going to a Halloween party this weekend that my favorite lesbian couple is throwing. And so it was either Diana Nyad, Ellen DeGeneres, or the costume I've chosen. And
which is a good one.
It's very lesbian friendly and inspired. And since I look like one anyway, no one will actually be surprised.
Everyone will be like, you're not even wearing
No, they'll be like, why aren't you wearing a tank top? But I am wearing a wig in this costume though. So people will actually know that I'm in a costume.
Okay, great.
And I'm not going as Rosie O'Donnell, by the way. Otherwise I would just wear my tank top and drive there without.
Should go as Rosie O'Donnell.
I live as Rosie O'Donnell. I don't need to dress up.
That's true.
I actually wear more makeup than her. So she's actually trying to go as me.
That is true. Self-slam, Dominick.
Thank you.
Our second announcement. For over a year now, people have been saying, do the Pre-Fixe twice a week, please. Chelsea Devontes has begged us on this podcast itself. Her husband has now come in texting me saying, I want this. And I said, who are you? Your wife?
There are also some non-famous people who've been DMing us constantly that they want to hold second FFP every week, which that's quite a bear. But
we are going to give you a second Pre-Fixe that comes out on either Thursday or Friday. And we're going to give you way more content And it is that the $5 Patreon tier and also a $5 Apple subscription. So if you don't even know what Patreon is or you don't know how to get there, in your Apple Podcast app, you can subscribe right now to the $5 tier. And anything that's going on that $5 Patreon tier is going to be on Apple subscriptions. And don't worry, if you're at the $20 tier or you're at the $10 tier at Patreon, you're getting all this anyway. So
this is especially appealing for people like me who don't know what Patreon is.
Dominick.
I'm so confused. I'm always confused about Patreon. I know a lot of people are. And this is so easy. If you stream this podcast on Apple, you just have to click a button. And then on Thursday or Friday, you automatically get more of this nonsense. Why you would want this, I have no idea, but so many of you are asking for it. We are thrilled to give it to you. We're doing it.
And we might be like, oh, what's more stories? But we might be like, why is Beyonce won a country Grammy so badly? Like we might take a walk around and talk about something. I might go on a rant. We're calling it right now the a la carte, just because we decided we needed to be restaurant themed since the Pre-Fixe is obviously a restaurant term.
Right.
But do you guys think it should be called something else?
Let us know.
I was saying it should be the a la clit, but then I was like, that's vulgar and disgusting. It's horrible. But like, ruminate and DM us and maybe something better will come along. But for right now, we're calling it the a la carte.
We'll be doing stories we didn't get to in the Pre-Fixe and other deeper dives like Chris mentioned. Who knows? It's just going to be another 20 or 30 minutes of the nonsense that you've grown to love and that we just can't stop doing. It's basically more of us talking over each other and screaming the words Jennifer Lopez in between.
Yes, correct. If you're not signed up, get signed up.
I have another announcement as well. Tickets for my holiday shows are selling, I will say briskly, without even using them in quotes. And I've barely announced anything or emailed anybody, but thank you to everyone who's bought tickets. We've added a 10th city this week. We'll be performing in Philadelphia on December 17th. So you have your choice of San Fran, LA, Chicago, Palm Springs, New York, Boston, DC, Atlanta. Who am I forgetting? I think that might be it. Oh, New York. Did I say that already?
Duh.
Anyway, please come. The response has been lovely to the first wave of publicity, and I would love to see you all.
And now,
who are we
get to?
Oh, that's
a very
right.
heavy and very reluctant episode that we must do.
We have expressed this episode regarding Lady Gaga because she has a new single coming out on Friday. And everything we say about her today could go in the wastebasket. So we wanted to get that out there. We're fine to be made fools of as long as Lady Gaga is successful. That's all.
Correct. I will fall on that sword.
And we will fix her with very special guest, Jared Alexander, in mere moments after you digest these vital messages.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Wondery and use code WONDERY at checkout.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Dominick,
Christopher,
this is a tough one this week, okay? This is a toughie. A toughie.
Brought on, and it's no shade, but brought on by you. I had to be dragged kicking and screaming into this arena this week. But why don't you introduce our guest first before we discuss your rationale for doing what we're about to do today?
I needed an intellectual to be here today to do this. Okay.
I'm not laughing.
He's the Bravo writer for Parade Magazine. He's Jared Alexander. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Jared. This is quite a challenging one.
Of course. Listen, I've held my little monster card since 2009. So this is absolutely challenging. This is
period.
Christopher, why? Now, this is obviously a special episode because we do love Lady Gaga. We
Huge
both
fan.
do. Chris is more of a super fan than I am, but I absolutely do love her. I wouldn't say I'm a little monster. The Little Monsters, quite candidly, are a group of people that I fear for a number of reasons. So why don't you explain how you twisted my arm and your rationale for having us try to fix her today?
No, many people reached out and was like, I think it's finally time for Lady Gaga to be fixed. And she has gone through many a wave of like she's had her ups and her downs. Okay. Like she's not someone who's like never faced adversity in her career. And after the Joker 2 reviews and just so many people taking to social media saying that they hated it, she's hurting.
And Jared, what was your initial reaction when Chris reached out and said, do you want to fix this icon?
Yes, and I mean, I have been a fan of hers, a hardcore fan of hers for so long. And as Chris mentioned, I feel like being a little monster, it's like exercising. It's an exercise in patience and faith. There have been peaks and valleys,
it is an exercise in patience. Wow, beautiful way to describe that.
I'm going to butch it up a little bit and say it's probably like what my dad would think liking the Mets is like. I believe they are. Are they a string of bodegas, or is that a sports team? Whatever that is, he'd say it was that.
I don't know if I agree with this analogy. However, I have such deference to your father that I will just allow it.
Jared, before we move forward, at the beginning of each broadcast, we play the middle name game where Christopher and our guest guess the middle name of the person we're fixing now. Obviously, everyone knows about Joanne, so we can't really do a quiz on that. But she does have a second middle name. So I need you to be honest with me. Do either of you already know what her second middle name is?
I in my mind, I don't know what it is, but when I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely it. So,
okay. Do you already know, Jared?
I've stared at her wiki too many times to count. And I don't know.
So the answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying no.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you're saying no? Oh my goodness. All right. I was fully prepared to move on to her mother's middle name as a replacement because I will not sacrifice the game. But let's do it. Lady Gaga, born in 1986. She is 38 years of age. She is, what comes after Pisces? Aries? March 28th, for those of you who subscribe to that. Her real name is Stephanie Joanne blank Germanotta.
A confirmation name, probably.
Perhaps.
Right. Oh.
What is Stephanie Joanne blank Germanotta's second middle name?
It's like Maria, but it's not Maria. It's like something like that. It's some intense Italian Catholic name.
Yeah. Well, she's just an Italian girl from New York, famously.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Maria. I know it's not Maria, but Maria is my guess.
All right. Jared, what is your guess?
This might be a cheat. I'm going to guess Marie.
Interesting. It is neither of those.
That's when it's $4.99 on what Price is Right, and it's $4.98.
He's trying to force a vote to the Patreon subscribers now. How could I decide? Stephanie Joanne, brace yourself. Angelina.
No, what did I say? What did I say? I knew it was something more ridiculous version of Maria.
It was very Italian. I'm surprised that you both stopped with Maria and didn't get more ridiculous. But Joanne is sort of the outlier in that entire name. It should just be Stephanie Angelina Germanotta. But yes, SJA, G, so SJAG, if you will. I'm sure her family
Goodbye.
calls her that at the barbecue.
Goodbye, Dominick.
So we are here mostly.
Remember the show Jag? Remember the show Jag?
I remember seeing ads for it and laughing that my grandparents couldn't stop watching it. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, continue. We are here. Go ahead, Dominick.
Lady Gaga is in the arena because of Joker 2 Folie à Deux. I mean, basically, like 100%. Without this film, then who knows? And I want to be very clear. I spoke with my best friend last night. His name is Mark. I will not give his occupation or where in media he works or his last name, because I don't want him to be embarrassed by this. But he has now seen Folie à Deux 3 times, and it is among his favorite films of the year, and he sees everything. And he thinks everyone is way off base. And when I told him that we were trying to fix SJAG, he said, have you seen the movie? And I said, no. And he said, have you listened to the new album? And I said, no. And then he gave me like his 45-second version of How Dare You? And to him, I say, we're only here because of what's happening with her in the public consciousness. This is not a review podcast. This is us
it sure isn't.
helping people in danger. And Molly, Gaga's in danger.
I mean, but before we get there, I do feel that we need, like, because of the respect we all have for her, we must walk through her career.
Okay.
Please.
I often say that she is the person who like reinvigorated pop music in like 2000s, early 2010s. I don't think there was anyone else around that was doing what she did. She came on the scene. She had the Fame. She had like Poker Face and Just Dance were her 2 biggest songs.
Right.
They absolutely skyrocketed to the top of the charts and exploded, and she became a household name overnight. Does anyone?
That is the story. That is the actual, that's the documentation. Yes, that is exactly what
it is. And with the, at the time, like the landscape was so, you could like look at the charts. It was like, we were really in more of like a hip hop and R&B with like the top 10, top 40 music, honestly.
Yeah.
And she famously brought Four on the Floor back to US radio, like literally brought pop music back like a comet.
I remember back in the day, like when E was still very much like where you went for like the red carpet coverage,
right?
It would be their promos for like the Golden Globes or the Grammys or the blah, blah. They would put up a thing that said, what is she gonna wear? And you just knew that they were talking about Lady Gaga. Like not only did she like have a good voice, had fun pop music, she was a good performer, she was a good dancer. She then was like, oh, I'm also going to like be insane on the red carpet on purpose so that you all like love, like the reason that we have like Brat Summer now and like all these humongous like media campaigns for music is because Lady Gaga was like, I'm going to do what Madonna did 20 years ago and like no one has done since and like do all of this extra bullshit that like gets people going.
And it was quite meteoric too. Like it was a very short period of time, sort of like what's happened with Chapel Roan this year, actually, where it's just like seemingly out of nowhere and then just took over, because Born This Way only came out in 2011. And that was the Grammys where she was in the egg, right? Down the red carpet. Yeah. And I just remember thinking shades already at that time, even though she'd only been here for a minute, where I'm like, she's going to have to do this like all the time, because she started out so hot that this egg thing is great, but what is she going to do to top this? And she does and has, obviously. Like, she's a great artist and she's a great.
Well, she got to a place where she had to stop doing all that.
Right.
Like it was albums and albums of like, okay, now what's the next crazy thing that I'm going to do? And then Artpop was the album. I mean, we're jumping so far ahead, but like Artpop like then became this album where everyone was like, this is too heady and like artistic and like we just want like pop music, like what is this? Right. And that was like, and P.S. I loved it, but like so many people were like the critics were all like, what's the point of this? And she was getting like too crazy and over the top. And at a certain point during like the art rave, she had like throw up artists like puke all over her and stuff. Like she did all these like stunt queen things that like nowadays we would like rip people apart for, like in the Pre-Fixe. Like she did all this like stuff, and eventually she had to like stop doing that. And then like she did Joanne, where she then was like, I'm just going to do a singer-songwriter, basically country album.
She stripped it down. Yes.
And it was like, and I have to just like go to random bars and like wear a tank top.
Which, not for nothing, I feel like that really did usher in a wave of, you see so many similar pop acts, like they're going to do the country lane thing and they're going to kind of go back and do like an Americana, like a folksy thing.
Right.
And it really, I think, broadened Gaga's scope, right? Because like in the beginning of her career, obviously she was this hot thing. She was like the pop act and literally like came on the scene with the Fame. Like she was a pop act about being a pop star. Everything was about like, I want to be famous, paparazzi, all these things. And then Artpop was kind of like rejecting that, but just focusing on like the art of it. Right. But with Joanne, that sound, I think, brought in like a whole adult contemporary listenership, like, you know, like people's parents and grandparents and the Tony Bennett, like it really broadened her scope that pushed her to that Super Bowl performance, which kind of ushered in, I think, the second half of Gaga so far.
When I don't want to jump ahead. Before we get to the Super Bowl performance, I will say that like one thing that she did that I feel like no one was doing, and she kind of brought back, was like activism in the like most famous part. I think it was, I rewatched this the other day. It was like, I think it was during Born This Way, or it was like, I mean, obviously Born This Way is like a huge gay anthem. It's like she wrote it for the gays, like the whole point of it, you know. But when she was going to get her, I believe it was her Grammys, or it might have been like VMAs. It might have not been the Grammy, but she, instead of bringing like a date, she brought 3 discharged veterans from the military that were gay and out. And it was during the Prop 8 vote of like, they were trying to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And instead of being like, oh, I'm going to like have a debut a boyfriend or do whatever, she brought 3, instead of like, at a time when every single person wanted to talk to her about music, she was like, I'm actually not going to talk about the album. I'm going to have this person who is discharged from the military because they're gay tell you his story instead. And you're going to fucking listen to it. Yeah. And like, that was like, to me, was like, wow, you're not just pandering to the gays. Like you are walking the walk while you talk the talk. Right. And it was a pivotal moment where like, she then like went on the campaign trail and was like doing speeches, and she did a video where she was calling her representatives to tell them to do Don't Ask Them. This is like before Instagram. You know what I mean? Like she like put up a video, like I think on Facebook, being like, here's how you're going to call your representatives to like do. So when she like sang at the inauguration and she all this stuff, I was like, oh, she earned like doing these performances, because she was like on the ground, like representing for the gays, like when no one at the time was really doing it.
No, not at all. I think we take for granted now that, like, obviously you hear Born This Way, or even not even just the music, just like how we kind of expect our pop stars to kind of be activists in some way, or to speak out in those things, like that kind of, and obviously there are people long before her who have done that. You can look to Madonna, you look to a lot of different acts, but I think there was something so radical about Lady Gaga at the time because she was doing it before she had anything to lose. Like from the second she came on the scene, there are all these clips about it where like, there were all these rumors about her gender and things, and she never once denied anything. And
how have we not brought this up? How did we not bring this up at the very freaking beginning when they were like, rumors? Everyone's saying that you're a man and you have a penis, and she's like, okay, and
right.
The Anderson Cooper interview is incredible when she goes, "Would it be so bad if I did? Like, what's the point?" Like, yeah. And she even said recently, she was like, sure, I'm allowing it. But like, I'm like, that's really great that you're saying this 20 years later, but, and not in the moment that is happening. But she was like, what if there was someone that was, you know what I mean? What if there was a trans person that was like, I didn't want to say, no, I don't. I wanted to, it's actually no one's business was my answer, which I was like, yes, correct. Thank you.
And the big difference too, like Jared mentioned earlier, was that this activism was always part of the actual brand. Like it wasn't just like, it is who she is as a person, but marketing herself as like a safe artist for queer people was from the jump, like from the Fame, from before that, from when she was singing like in all those bars in the Village. Like that was always part of who she was, because she was truly a New York City kid. It's not that other artists weren't, but like even the other people who we herald on this podcast, like Britney and J-Lo and all that, like, are they gay icons? Of course. But that level of activism was never, you know, they do it and they represent and they mention it, but it wasn't part of who they were from the very beginning. And with her, that's where there's a wonderful comparison between her and Madonna, because it was the same with her. I mean, she was talking about her gay friends on stage at Danceteria before, like, as Burning Up was coming out. You know, it's like, so as much as Madonna might roll her eyes at the influence that she's had on Gaga, it's been very positive in every way, to be honest with you.
Well, Madonna loves to like be okay with it and then not be okay with it when she's like in a bad mood.
Right.
like in the one thing, like I remember they were like, well, this song, because when Born This Way came out, people were like, this sounds like a Madonna song. Like you're ripping off
it sounds
of Madonna.
exactly like Express Yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the same.
It's the same song, basically.
Yeah.
But and she said, I sent this to Madonna and she said, I love this song. Do it. Like, go get it, girl. And she's like, and if the queen says it shall be, then it shall be. And then like 2 years later, Madonna's like, I fucking hate that song. Like,
right. That it was reductive. I mean, she's such a bitch. But it's fine. We do love her still.
I know. I mean, it is whatever. She can do whatever she wants, honestly.
Yes.
But I mean, the thing about it is that she came out, she had the fame that made her famous. And then the fame monster was like hit after hit after hit after hit. And it was like choreography that you wanted to learn. I mean, now it's like TikTok. It would be like, this was like before TikTok. Like, funny story. This weekend, I was in Toronto and we went to drag brunch with Dame Erin Bagwell and Katie Rosen, friends of the pod.
Right.
And when I tell you she played Bad Romance and she went, does anyone know the music? Just know the dancing or the choreography? I looked at them and I was like, I do. I like still know it from, and they were like, he knows it. They threw me to the wolves first and foremost. They were like, get him right here. Yeah.
Is there video of it?
There's a little bit of video of it, but they didn't get fast enough. And I got up and I still knew every single freaking, like I knew the whole dance. And I was like, okay, this is embarrassing that I know this. I'm like sitting down now.
No, I could do it too. It's like, it's in your bones in that way. Like,
but I learned it watching the YouTube video and like writing it down on a piece of paper and then teaching it to all of my friends in college. Like we would watch the Bad Romance music video like it was like the Zapruder film. You know what I mean? Like we were like,
that's officially gayer than my throwing Oscar parties in college.
It is.
By the way.
Yeah. But then like Alejandro had a dance. Paparazzi had a dance. Every song. Yes.
Her work with Lorianne Gibson at that time was really so. I said this after, and this isn't jumping ahead, it was just like my thought after going to Chromatica at MetLife in 2021. And I turned to my friends and I was like, I think the thing about Lady Gaga is that she is the last of a certain type of American pop star in the trajectory that we had in terms of like proper music video, proper like radio promotion, rollout.
Right.
Like you work your way from the top to like it's so different.
100% that she is the last one. Period.
She's the last one because like social media was starting as she was. So she was using it, but it wasn't like she was a child star and then came up that way, or like she was like using social media and blowing up that way, or like we still have music videos now, right? But like that was probably the last peak of that art form. And that being the main way in which we're taking in content like that.
And I will say another performance that I still to this day think is the only performance to eclipse this is probably the Britney Spears I'm a Slave for You, like snake dance, which if you watch back now is not as impressive as I remember as it being as a child. But when she got on the VMA stage and she did Paparazzi in that white lace outfit and she had weird hair and she sang, she played the piano. And then as she, at the very last verse, she took the microphone and blood started coming out of her body and she rubbed it all over her face and then basically hung herself at the end of it. I was like, this is a star, right?
Yeah.
Was that the night that she handed Cher her meat purse when she went to the stage?
That was the following VMA.
That was the following year? Okay.
Yeah. And she announced Born This Way, the album, that night. She was like, if I told myself if I was going to win, I would sing the, what's it called?
Because I would say what the name of the album was.
And then the next VMAs was the Fame Monster. And the next one was Born This Way. But she like sang, she was like, this is the title of my new album. And she like sang the chorus.
I mean, she really went for it as far as like advocating for queer people, because as we well know, there's still a swath of the world population that is not cool with people like us. And for her to like be at the peakiest peak of her fame and then just say this next project's going to be for queer, like aimed at and about queer people is such a boss move. I mean,
and a number one hit at that. Like, you know what? It's like these songs, like, are they on the nose now a little bit? Do they feel like sure? But at the time in 2010, 2011, it was like really radical. Like it really was a big deal.
Yes.
I don't know where this falls in the timeline, but as far as aligning herself with Tony Bennett, just from a marketing standpoint, what a brilliant move on her part. Like, what a brilliant way to make yourself accessible as an entertainer to everybody, because it is so hard to do that. And again, I know I'm using the word marketing, but to observe her and him on stage together, look, everything is marketing. Everything famous people do is marketing essentially, but it felt as sweet and organic as it possibly could have, because before he started to, you know, in the end, when he was losing his faculties a little bit, it seemed mildly pandery to me, but not on purpose. But in the beginning of them together, watching them perform together was just the sweetest thing you'd ever seen. Like it was just such an unexpected surprise.
And that was I felt very good of her to be like, oh, that was after Artpop, where she was like very addicted to drugs. And she wrote it, like one of her songs was called Dope. And it was saying she needs her fans more than she needs dope. You know what I mean? Like she was like, I remember she tweeted one time, like, I don't even remember Artpop. Like she says, like, she doesn't even like remember like doing it.
What drugs was she doing? Do you know?
I think all of them. I don't know. That's my guess, but I don't know. But she was like, it was bad. Like she needed a rehab of her physically and of her image. And to be able to be like, oh wait, I like play the piano and write out my own songs on the piano because I'm like a trained musician. Right. Like I know how to actually sing. Like I'm not a Britney Spears, like performer. Like, you know what I mean? I like actually am a vocalist. I mean, I love her to death, but you know what I mean? But like, she needed that. And then was like, and again, like my dad was then like, oh my God, like who's this woman singing with Tony Bennett? You know what I mean? Like that's like everyone's like parent that wasn't my mom who was like jamming out to Born This Way in the car was like, oh wow, who's this like pop star that can do jazz and like knows how to do show tunes and like, you know what I mean?
No, she really started to get to a whole different audience because around that too, she started to do these award show performances like that Sound of Music performance.
I talk about it all the time. But she has had her snafus.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Joanne was not. We didn't love.
Yeah.
Well, Jared basically said Joanne gave birth to Cowboy Carter. He's just not using those words. But yeah, obviously
well, I think it's interesting now that is the move that you see pop stars doing. They're like, oh, I'm going to do... And Beyonce, I do think it's probably a little different just because of like her, you know, being a Texan and
she has her own
a connection there. But I think Joanne, it's nowhere near my favorite Gaga album, but now look, it's such an important step for her, like we talked about, in broadening her audience. Like just for A Million Reasons alone, like that got her a lot. And that sound, I think, is what we became accustomed to with A Star Is Born, which again was like
incredible
a huge moment for her, like Shallow and the Oscars and everything, like totally changed her celebrity.
It 100%. Did, because she's one of these artists who's so popular. She can basically do whatever she wants. I'm sure she has to fight with record companies, but she chose to do something that I'm pretty sure she knew was not going to be a blockbuster. Like Joanne was a passion project that she knew was not going to really move the needle, I think, financially. And that's what she chose because she is an actual artist first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure record companies hate because
they're like, what the fuck is this?
Please put on a titanium bra and write some dance music. And she's like, no, I'm going to do this.
Well, and I think it was very much her like going back to her roots and like, do you know what I mean? Like it was her idea of doing that kind of a thing. I will say
that a post-rehab album?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably a big part of it too.
I don't even know if she really went to rehab though, but I think she definitely, maybe she did.
Maybe she just listened to the song Rehab for 28 straight days.
By Rihanna.
She was writing Joanne by Amy Winehouse.
Then you get this album, basically like a sleeper album within this A Star Is Born, which I think was even like for film, they were like, oh, a soundtrack can like be back again.
Yeah.
Like she really, again, like here's this thing that we used to have. Remember, I mean, back in the day, we used to like the soundtrack to a movie was like a big deal. And like, there's going to be the Titanic. And like, I mean, I'm just using that as an easy example, but like how many big movies, like even the like Black Panther soundtrack from like the first Black Panther movie was like a humongous success. Like, but she kind of like brought that back to being like,
Sure.
Shallow is like her most streamed song on Spotify.
No, it was an event. It was what would we call her? A pop star. I was going to say singing sensation because I'm old and gay, but she's a pop star who is then a movie star, which you're always going to hold your breath for when someone's switching genres like that. Like it's either going to be wonderful or it's not. And then to have the character she's playing also be a pop star. So she gets to Sly Guy. It was just, the whole thing was a stroke of genius. And that project languished in development. When I tell you that everyone and their mother was attached to A Star Is Born before they settled on Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, even saying those names now together just sounds utterly ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I know some people didn't like it. It was multi-Oscar nominated. She won for the song. I loved it. And I thought she was great in it. I truly did.
It's a moment. And I think too, you know, like really felt like to me, like kind of like a Bodyguard moment in that it was like, again, like a pop star playing a pop star, also acting her face off, but also the music, like the soundtrack of The Bodyguard is so fun because you have those high pop kind of campier moments, which you have on the Star Is Born soundtrack, but you also have I Will Always Love You. You also have I Have Nothing. Like you have these like really solid emotional moments that you also get in A Star Is Born. And again, I think it just like totally made her celebrity even bigger. And then it kind of led us into this new era of her being really seismic in that way.
And I love that you're comparing her to Whitney because one thing that I do love about Lady Gaga is that she is never shy about referring to her influences and even saying that so much of what she does. And she's very much, she will even compare herself to David Bowie in that way, who was also accused of the same thing and was also incredibly honest about it, saying, yeah, of course I'm ripping people off. Like I'm also a consumer and I listen to music and what I like artistically is influenced by the people that I love. And she has always said that. So everything she does is sort of borrowing from someone and maybe not necessarily elevating it every time, but not being shy. Like I love the Whitney connection that you just made there with Bodyguard and Star Is Born, because I didn't really think about it too much at the time, but it is so close. And if I Will Always Love You was an original song, it absolutely would have won the Oscar that year. It's just
100%.
It's like, why wasn't it nominated? Can you imagine if that song, they should just give it an Oscar anyway.
I know, an honorary retroactive one. No, it's literally like that Lady Gaga meme, you know, where she's like talking about like the like process and she goes like unafraid to reference or not reference. Like that is Lady Gaga. Like from the beginning, it has always been like a conversation between like what it means to make art commercially versus selling out, what it means to be a pop star while also like being a pop star, which is like just so fucking cool.
And keeping tongues wagging, because that Oscar performance with her and Bradley Cooper at the piano is
never forget whenever they were like about to kiss each other.
Oh my God. It's top 10 on so many, like cringiest, worst, best, most memorable. It's like you never forget that performance. And the director, the way he shot that, he was fingering her. I don't care what anyone says. I want to see the wide shot. Her dress was too big. I don't know what was happening there, but I'm calling bullshit. I'm not ever having fucking. I'm not. It's not happening.
Well, and at the time it was like they were like all over each other on the red carpet, and everyone was like, and like his wife was like, because remember he like got divorced afterwards, like she was basically like, are you fucking Lady Gaga? Like there was scandal. Like we didn't like say that she was like a home wrecking whore, but like there was scandal, you know what I mean? And it was fun and we liked it and even like there's going to be 100 people in a room. And if one person, blah, blah, like she said that like 90 million times and everyone made fun of her for it. It still didn't like stick enough, but it was like, it almost like made her better because it was like she earnestly thinks this and keeps saying it. You know what I mean? Like
there could be 100 people in the room. There really can.
And that's the thing. She's doing so much to be appealing to all sorts of audiences, but she really is only speaking to one kid. It seems like, you know, like she's like everything she does, every interview, I feel like no matter what project she chooses, every time she leaves the house, she's just talking to one queer kid who feels alone. And it feels like her entire career is based on that, which is what's very special about her. And she never shies away. All the decisions she makes, we're here fixing her. She could be an even bigger star than she is right now if she'd made different decisions, but she doesn't because she's the same person she was when she started being a star.
And this is not to jump all the way back to the Monster Ball, but like when I was seeing her, like she took like 15 minutes out of her performance to like explain her childhood to you and talk. Like artists these days don't do this at tours at all. Like Celine did this back in the day all the time, would like tell these crazy stories that were ridiculous. And you would like go on the journey with them. When she went to go like sit down at the piano, she was like, I saw her in Pittsburgh. She was like, my grandparents are from West Virginia. I used to fly into the Pittsburgh airport all the time to come see them from New York, blah, blah. Like, I love this city, blah, blah, blah. Someone threw up a terrible towel at her, which is like the Pittsburgh, like what they spin in the like Steeler audience. She like put it on the thing. Everyone's going fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And she did this thing where like, no matter where she went, she had some kind of like connection to the audience. And I learned so much about who she was as a human being, like from being in that audience that one time. And there's still things that I know about her that she told me at that concert that she's never said in an interview. Do you know what I mean? And like you watch a newer person come on the stage, they don't even fucking talk. They just sing a song and then stop and then sing another song. And so, where she was like laying the groundwork of like her lore, like early on and like knew that she needed, it was so genius.
And by the way, I know we jumped to A Star Is Born because it's for obvious reasons, but prior to that, let's not forget about her appearing on American Horror Story Hotel.
I was thinking to kick that too. Doesn't she like scissor with like
everybody?
Angela Bassett? Like, doesn't her and Angela Bassett have sex in that movie?
Pretty much, yeah. She has vampire blood sex with everyone in that series.
It's crazy, but thinking about it though, like she got a Golden Globe. Like that also is a step towards what was next. And just people accepting her as an actress.
Why do we even watch the Golden Globes still?
No.
Like, remember when they nominated Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie for The Tourist? And it was like a Razzie Award-winning film. They nominated Heather Locklear from Melrose Place for Best Dramatic Actress at the Golden Globes.
Because they want you there.
Yeah, they want them to show up.
We do show up. So that means they're absolutely voting for Glenn Close for Deliverance for supporting actress.
1,000,000%.
If they don't, I will watch. If they don't, I won't watch.
She will be on that stage with those like vampire, like grinded down.
She'll be in character. You think Glenn Close will show up in character to the Golden Globes?
But like what you have left of your teeth before you get veneers teeth, and she's gonna like go at it. Like, oh God.
When are we getting to my favorite thing that I want to
talk about? Right now is when we're getting. So, Jared, you probably don't know this, but Dominick and I are very alike in many ways and very not alike in many ways. And one of our cultural divides is that Dominick thinks that The House of Gucci is like one of his favorite movies of all time. And I think it is the worst thing that she's ever been in.
Right off the bat, it's just House of Gucci. It's not The House of Gucci.
Put
sorry. Put respect on its name. I'm going to do a patented Chris DeRosa self-interview right now.
I hate you. Go.
Are there utterly ridiculous moments in House of Gucci? Yes. Is the sex scene between Lady Gaga and Adam Driver the most iconic faux penetration moment to appear in a theatrical release in the history of cinema? Also, yes. Is House of Gucci, it's not on enough. Like if I accidentally see it on television, I will cancel my plans and sit there. Is it that movie and will it be forever? Yes. But no one's going to be airing this as much as they air like Star Wars or what's another, Devil Wears Prada's on. You accidentally will find that on any network and you have to sit down and watch it. I forced Chris and his partner to watch it when we were on vacation this summer, and they lasted 40 minutes and then it was over. And then people started leaving the room and I was in there alone.
And like now that Joker 2 is like flopping hardcore, people are like,
we are.
She can't act. Like a lot of the criticism is like, she is a terrible actor. And like, here's a third movie that I didn't like that you like Star Is Born. People were, but like, here's like the third movie that she's in. It's supposed to be this big, huge, this is the thing though, is that she's a really good PR. And because she's like that she really is that like last pop star of like the 90s that we know. Mm-hmm. And like, because she's so good at doing the press and the marketing and the hype of these movies is so big that like it never measures up. And I think the thing that's sad is that like Chromatica to me was like a return to form of like who we wanted her to be. And still to this day, if I put that album on, I will listen to it from the first song to the last song and have the best time of my life. And I think that I'm like, oh, there's hope. She's back. We're back. And like, if COVID would not have happened, LOL, like she would have been, I don't know where she would be right now, but she would have returned to like, because her press tour of that would have been amazing.
Unreal. And there's something too, and again, that was right after House of Gucci. There is something so special about how, I mean, I shouldn't say, obviously the pandemic was horrible, but there's something about the way that album sits now as a fan, and that it really does feel so special because we got this giant dance pop record from one of the biggest pop stars right now, and we were all alone in our houses. And there was something about putting that on.
Right.
And as silly, I remember when Chromatica was getting rolled out, people were like, what does this even mean? Like, it's about like just like her explaining it. And it's like, it kind of means whatever you want it to mean, but it also did make you miss, like, all people were saying is that, like, I cannot wait until we get to a time where I can dance to this, where I can go out and like just let loose and dance to it. And like, and the album did really well. I mean, she has a #1 hit. She has Grammys from it, from Rain on Me. Stupid Love did really great. But like, I think that you're right. Like, there is a sadness to like what that era could have been. But at the same time, I think there is something kind of beautiful about like that being the moment it was. And then the tour being as big as it was, I think, because also we had such an attachment, like we could not wait to hear that music because we had spent a whole year alone, basically, listening to it.
And then we arrive
at this, why we're here. I mean, we probably wouldn't be here without the uninspired reaction to her performance in Joker 2 and the, could we just say flat reaction to the accompanying music that was released?
It was like a Tony Bennett thing without Tony Bennett. Like, that's what it was. I wish she would have told me that beforehand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was good. It was good, but it's just like, okay, this is here.
Yeah.
And she's still one of those artists that you like count down the minutes. Like, we are salivating to Friday for like us to be able to like stream it the second that it gets on Spotify. Are we not? This new single that she's going to put out. You know what I mean?
We should point out, yes, we are 48 hours away from her possibly giving us the finger. I mean, this song Disease could be the next Born This Way. And you'll be like, tell those faggots to shut up. How dare they fix this woman?
Yeah.
I have a feeling too, it's like, I wonder if there's a lot of talk online, obviously, about this movie in post, how it changed a lot. It was constantly in flux. There's a really funny clip of Joaquin and Gaga doing some press junket and asking about what they thought about the final edit. And they just kind of look at each other. All that to say, we got this post from Gaga, like right around when the Joker rollout started to happen, of like these dates of like Joker release, like Joker premiere, special Joker project, like LG7 single. And it was like October, whatever. I feel like if this was going to be a movie that was going to dominate through the awards campaign, there's no way that she would also be doing an album cycle at the exact same time.
You are so right.
And I think the writing maybe was on the wall. And
she knew.
She knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, friends have seen the movie and like loved it. Much like Dominick, like Mark said, like people have like liked it. Half the people on the internet, I like don't trust their opinion if they think the movie is good or not. And of course, it's going to be this like fucking ridiculous art housey, like heady thing. Like it's not going to be like, it's not Avengers. You know what I mean? Like that's not what this movie is.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dominick's going to kill me because I say it every week, but they did some interview where they were like, what was it like to be on this thing with like the director and with what's his name and Joaquin Phoenix? And she goes, sometimes we would just like rip all the pages of the script up and just like figure out what the scene was going to be while we shot it. And I was like, okay, like that's not good. Like that's not ever how you make a film.
Right.
And like she will dip back into that, like, I'm an artist that's like going to die for the art. And like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing where it's like the artistic flow and blah, 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 where then it turns into like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? All right, I think we're there.
I think we're at the arena. We're knocking on the door and it's time. It's time to go inside.
Jared, you now know that we will both pitch an idea and you will decide the winner of what Lady Gaga will do to get herself out of this mess.
Let's do it.
Lady Gaga, Stephanie, Maria Germanata, Angelina, Joanne. You, much like Jared said very astutely, you are the last pop star of our generation that will be in the iteration that we remember and that was started by Michael Jackson and Madonna. Like, you are the last of them. Period. And something you did so well during the first 2 albums that you made was that you would have a single. You would then immediately put out a very, very interesting music video. You then would do a press tour and go to every late night show / now it would be like tiny desk concert / like any of these, like I have an A-list celebrity on to do a performance she would do. And then she would do the normal version of it in America. And then she would fly to Japan, Germany, London, every other big city. And she would mainly do piano performances. Like, there would be an acoustic version that doesn't actually exist that you would rip off of YouTube, or if like LimeWire didn't, like we weren't like doing LimeWire anymore, but like you would rip off of YouTube to be an MP3 that you would like illegally put on your iPad or iPod. That was like from some Japanese talk show where she would do like the poker. Remember, which I think it was on like Graham Norton or something. She did like the poker face on the piano, and it was like, oh, this one's an actual real musician. Right. She isn't one of these like genetically engineered pop stars that is like a Britney Spears prototype number 2. I need the rollout of this album to be single that's really good. Music video the next week. Does it on Jimmy Fallon. Goes to Graham Norton to do an acoustic broken down version that she spends 15 minutes singing and just doing all this weird shit in the middle of. Single. Music video. If it's not broke, do not fix it. Period. I don't need all this weird shit. I don't need her going on Call Her Daddy. I don't need her like doing something stupid. I need her to do the normal, where her audience is watching stuff. Like, I'll watch her music video. I watched the 911 music video that was really fucking stupid and predictable. The Stupid Love music video was great. It was like Power Rangers. It was like all pink and different colors and blah, blah, blah. I will follow this. And that is what she needs to recapture the magic of being the last real pop star. And I just need a very standard but strong album rollout. And that is my pitch.
All right. I will be going in a different direction with her. I think
if you say On Golden Pond, I'm going to reach to the computer.
I am not casting her in On Golden Pond or An Evening With, or not even a Broadway show. But this is what I think. Since she's influenced by everybody and has done something that everyone has done, I think let's kick that up a notch. And I think that she needs to be a little bit like Barbra Streisand. I think she needs to direct a movie that she also stars in that has nothing to do with music, except she should write the score because she is a musician, so she could get nominated that way. And it should be a drama that has no musical characters in it. Maybe it's a remake of Kramer versus Kramer or something. Or maybe she appears in a remake of The Piano, the 1993 movie where Holly Hunter said there's no dialogue in it at all. Maybe she does that. But it should be an ensemble. It should be a drama. Why are you laughing?
Kramer versus Kramer. I'm dead.
But why not? Could you see her in that? That's not even a lead role.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
She can direct. She can write the score. Because right now, I think it would be very Gaga. Because right now, everyone's like, oh, this is first House of Gucci, now this, blah, blah, blah. And I think she should respond instead of doing what Madonna does and is like, well, then fine, I won't do movies anymore. She should be like, well, try this on for size. I'm going to direct and star in the next one. And if you think I was annoying on the Star is Born press tour, wait till you get a load of this shit. I'm going to write the score. I'm going to get nominated for an Oscar, and I'm going to blow everyone away. I need Gaga's Yentl. Well, I think Barbara's just sang something in Yentl. So basically,
she directed the movie.
No, I need Gaga's Prince of Tides is what I need. That's what it has to be. which I think Barbara wrote the score for as well. And she no music in the movie, and she was actor, picture director. Pardon me. She absolutely did not get nominated for Best Director, and that was a scandal. But Gaga should. And that is my pitch.
Oh.
Now you can ask questions, you can give comments, you can you now do this with this time what you will.
Yeah, I mean, these are both amazing pitches, first of all. I'm so impressed. And I think what's interesting too, Dominick, with yours is that she has kind of, to legitimize herself, has kind of worked with these like big names or these like auteurs, right? Or you either have like, it was Bradley's first time directing, but you know what I mean? Her working with Todd and Joker, and then
for Bradley, it's a wannabe auteur, but yes.
Right. But I think that it would be quite the statement if she directed her own movie. But why are you pushing back against there being any music in it at all?
Because I think that's the way to actually legitimize her, because I feel like she's had 2 roles so far. Campy as fuck, meaning American Horror Story and House of Gucci, or music related because it's more her wheelhouse. So it's hard to do, like doing something for her that's out of the box or that would be in a lane she hadn't done before.
Yeah, it's like her doing a straight play purpose, versus like a musical. Yeah. Like it's like to just be like, I'm an actor now. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I was looking up like when I was trying to think like what's a good like drama ensemble she could be a part of. Like, you know, I don't know. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I don't know. A remake. And it doesn't have to be a remake, but I feel like it should be acty.
Yeah.
6 Degrees of Separation, maybe. I mean,
like August Osage County. She could be like the Julia Roberts character. Like, can you imagine? She'd be great. She would like go. This is the one thing I will say, though, not to rebut you, Dominick, but like she can very quickly get into like the I'm this artist thing. Then she goes, and then it ruins it.
Yeah. Well, this is her chance to make
Someone's
sure
gotta like keep her in
happen.
line. Yeah. Because then she'll be like, we were going to make me and Salma Hayek we're going to be lesbians at the end of House of Gucci. And then
and that's the kind of movie that she'd say shit like that too, because it is such, I mean, it's a masterpiece or an astropiece, however, but it is, you could always lean on the camp in that movie because it's just, I mean, you know, I love it, but I will admit publicly, it is not a film that is to be taken seriously. I mean, it is presented to you as clown work. And speaking of clown work, it's the same with Joker 2. Like
quite literally clown work.
Quite literally. There's something to hide behind in all the roles that she's taken so far. And you just want to see her like stripped bare. The non-musical version of Nicole Scherzinger in Pussycat Boulevard, if you will.
Dominick, I agree. I will say I have to agree with that. I'm not going to lie to you.
What's tough now with where she is in her pop career, I think 15, 16 years in, is I think she is very aware of the cadence in which she's pop star Gaga and movie star Gaga. And we've had a big break from pop star Gaga for like 4 years now. And I feel like this moment with whatever LG7 will be called is really important because she's entering this era. I think it's like going to prove if she's still in the game in that way.
Correct.
Like a lot of her, almost all of her contemporaries, not counting Beyonce, are not anymore in that way. But she also isn't going to sacrifice or compromise the movie star of it all either. So it's a weird thing where I feel like timing wise, I'm leaning towards Chris. That's where we have to go. But that's not me not counting that like late 2025, I could see a Deadline article that literally is that, where like she's directing her own project and doing that. But I think we're going to get, also she's not getting any younger in a certain way. And I think that like there's going to be a big tour push of whatever this cycle is.
That is a good point. I mean, I think for Chris's pitch, which is like, she can do my pitch sort of whenever, but there's a bit of a physical shelf life doing what she does if she's going to tour with that album. So,
but I will say, Dominick, your thing is the thing that she needs to do directly after all of the dust settles for this.
Well, I hope you enjoy your album since you've won this week because you missed out on Lady Gaga's Schindler's List. I hope you're both proud of yourselves.
Dominick.
Chris is our winner. Jared, is it official? Is Chris our winner?
Shawshank Redemption. She's the one that's like digging out of the...
No, yeah, exactly. No, she directs an adaptation of Carrie, but she is Carrie's mom.
Yeah, nice. Honestly, that would be great.
That would be great. Because she's the right age. She could have an 18. She's 38 years old. She could absolutely have an 18-year-old child. Yeah. That's actually really good. That's a really good one.
Oh, love her so much. Oh no. What's going to happen in 2 days?
It's going to be fine. Because the worst thing that could happen is that it's boring. It's not going to be bad. It's never bad.
Won't,
it would just be like.
No, and she's her first singles, like looking back at them, like they're always, I'm excited for the visual component, even from what's been teased so far, just like looks wise, it looks like a darker tone. It's kind of giving Fame Monster.
I know, but that's what I want it to be poppy. I don't want her to do like another like rock and like she almost a little bit, it was a little like rock and roll, this like Harlequin album thing that she put out. And I'm like, I don't want that to be this. Like,
no, we got to dance.
It needs to be pop.
Yeah.
Oh, God, well, congratulations, Chris.
Thank you, Dominick. Jared, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you guys so much.
Where can people find you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at the Jared Alex, TikTok Jared Alexander, and yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. You'll see a lot of my musings and stuff, and I'm sure when that song is out, no matter what, I'll be posting about it.
No, we're there. We're listening regardless. So.
Yes.
Dominick, where can people find you?
Oh, the website's domentary.com, where you'll be linked to tickets for all the dates for my holiday show. We just added Philadelphia this week, and tickets for Atlanta are finally on sale. So come on down. And on socials, I'm at Dominick Pupa. Christopher, where can the listeners of this podcast find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. I wish you both well, and as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.